happened? I turned into a cat. Hey, that was going on. That's why I suddenly had Sonic hearing and Sonic smelling and oh my goodness. I can smell stuff. Like I can smell the scent of food upstairs. Like oh, and just okay. Back to the video. So yeah, it's perfect timing because I'm going to review that book I promised to review, Claws. Now I don't have the book on stock because it's at the library, but the review is finally out, so enjoy it. So let's start with the plot. Ow! The big claws came out. How did the main character learn to control this? Okay, the plot is basically this young tween girl becomes a human pride heart, the leader of a herd of cats in that world, to help find her missing sister. At basically, her family is forced to move into a ghetto-like area because of her sister's disappearance. I'll get into why I call it a ghetto-like area into settings, but yeah, it makes a whole lot of sense, and none of it says very positive things about that world. So yeah. So let's move on to the setting. Ow! Gotta get control of this. But anyways, the saying is this modern world. If this modern world had a magical forest pop out of nowhere and displace a bunch of people, so say at least due to being displaced because from the old town because of the magical forest, they have an issue against creatures like what I became now and just creatures in general because yeah, that would definitely create some grudges and just the the racial tension in this is so thick. You would think that you would be surprised that I forced off Jim Crow because there are separate schools for crags. That term's disgusting. I'm not going to use it. It's like the N word. Okay, separate school for creatures and humans. When the main character took on cat powers, she was expelled from her school because it's a quote 100% human school, you creature. And she was also handcuffed because she was going to punch a bully, but ended up make a scratching him. So yeah, basically she was bullied before for that point for moving into for because her family had to move into the creature ghetto. So she was her best friend's dad forbid his daughter from hanging out with her because apparently every single creature that isn't human there is evil, and you can catch evil through the air. Yeah, explain that leap of logic, sir, because I don't think you're connected with any form of reality. But anyway, yeah, and the one Harpy character wasn't had to be disguised by her using cat magic in order to fly into the city because apparently they follow the "your kind is welcome here" approach to having any sort of creatures other than fairies into humans areas. So yeah, the, the racial tension was so thick I half expected a Tar versus the Board of Education to pop up because of the separate schools. Yeah, you get it. You're not stupid. I'm going to move on to talk about some of the main creatures that are there. There's cats, which there are apparently no normal house cats. All of them have had to be like talking magical cats who could turn into giant big cats like lions and tigers. Man, why didn't I get that ability? That sounds so cool. But anyways, They turn to giant creatures. They can transform others into whatever they pleased, with or without their permission. And the Pride Hearts is the leader of one of these groups that gives out his magic so the others can transform and be and transform into big cats and just use their abilities. Cats can also see through fairy magic, which is cool because the way they put the way cat magic differs from fairy magic, courtesy of the main cat Jack, is that fairy magic is illusions and not really transforming anything. It just makes something look different to the humans. Meaning it's not a real meaning it's more like illusions and tricks, which fits the fairies very well in this. And cat magic actually transforms them. They don't just look like they turn into cougars and mountain lions. They actually do turn into them. They can actually transform people. This is like their magic is real. I'll get back. I'll get more to the fairies when I get into to describing the fairies. Okay. Okay. So I can smell my cat's scent here from when she was sat there last night. Yeah, that should have been a red flag that I was turning into something, but oh well. And anyways, now on to the hags. The hags were basically ugly old women who at first don't look so ugly when they like enchant you, but that's really just to bait you into them so they can eat you. Basic, basically, hags are like just ugly old women who eat children in this, kind of like the old tales of them. And the main character's neighbor is a hag that lives in the ghetto, so yeah, she becomes important later on, but I'm never going to tell you why. You just gotta read the book. So sorry. Okay, next is the Ratters. Oh, sorry. Just the cats start taking over, and they deal giant rats. Yummy. Yeah, I hear all the ews going in the background. I have sound cat hearing now. Remember? Okay, so the rarekins are basically as I said, giant human-like rats. I do not blame the humans for hating these ones, because it's like, ew, giant rats. I hate normal-sized rats. Giant rats sounds like something out of a nightmare. Okay, but anyways, so they live underground in the sewers, and they are connected to. They pride themselves on having all the world's secrets to themselves. But they're very cold and different, kind of like the cats. But that's because the cats are feral. No one wants a cat in their house. That I saw in the book. But anyways, the rats are just in the rarekins. The rares are indifferent. Like the main character's father went to them pleading them for information on where his lost daughter was, and they had the information on where she last was, but refused to give it to him because he didn't have juicy enough secrets. The main character had to threaten to send her herd of cats after them to hunt them 24/7 in order to get that secret. And harpies are and other harpies are basically like humanoid bird-like creatures. There's one that helps her in the book that's a minor character. And and then there are the fairies. Told you I'd get them. They're basically disguised themselves to look like godlike, perfect angel beings to the humans, but really they're ugly. They look like if and and a troll and something else ugly mated, had a baby, and infused it with decay. They are ugly beings, and they use their magic to kind of disguise themselves in their lairs as this enchanting, beautiful places. And they're just underhanded, they're not trustworthy, and they don't have eyes. Basically, they use humans as their eyes. They're they're basically underhanded beings who you should never trust, and yet due to their disguises, they earn the trust and respect hun- of every single person who dare went who dare discriminate against Chloe because she was a harpy. Yeah. So yeah, with all that out of the way, let's move on to characters. Yay! I did it! I got control of my claws. Okay, so Emma is a moron because she is, but anyway, she she's basically 12. She struck me as a bit impulsive and just not very wise kid. Like, just she continued talking to Hatch even after he, finding out this woman rather eat her, and she allowed Jack to turn to Pride Hearts within 2 days of knowing him. Yeah, she struck me as impulsive and not very. She never thought anything through, just jumped right in, and it's like, but I got a better feeling about her later on because she cared deeply for her family and just missed her sister. That's why she did all these things. Jack promised to help her find her sister if she became a Pride Heart. And yeah, and I find her relationship with Jack to be interesting. He Jack. He's not very trustworthy. He's very selfish, very much self-centered, and just gave off a bad vibe to me. I and yeah, basically, probably because one of his statements to her was when she told him about her lost sister. He's like, "What's the big deal? I lost my magic. What's magic compared to a sister?" That's like, wow, you're an asshole. Because it's like, because apparently cats don't really think too much of family other than, okay, you're in the same litter as me. So he was a bit of a jerk. And just, I'm not going to say too much about his motivation, just that he killed the last Pride Heart. And it explained why I did it later on. And just, yeah, I found their friendship be interesting because she viewed him as a friend, but it's pretty clear that his motivations were not pure from the beginning. But it just like their made their dynamic interesting because he was teaching her how to control the cat magic he gave her, and she was kind of leaning on him to have someone to talk to because everyone turned their back on her when she moved to that ghetto. She was bullied at school for it, even expelled for it when they found she was a cat. Like, well, when she got cat powers. So yeah, so it's kind of clear to the audience that something's up with Jack, but it doesn't really say what's up with him until the end, and I'm not going to spoil that. Next, next, the next notable character would be Chloe. She's like hyperactive, happy, joyful, kind of like Pinkie Pie, to be honest. I'm hungry. I feel like I had to have some raw meat after this, or tuna or something. Man, cats have rare cravings. But anyways, Chloe's like the harpy. She's hyperactive. She's excitable. She's very pleasant to be around, and she helps her. Other characters include the Rare King, the again become from there. The neighbor who constantly complains about the cops never coming when there's a problem for them, but always going to harass hardworking people. Merc appears since the Black Kettles or Jim Crow areas. And then, yeah, there's our parents who are, they're, they're just normal, caring parents who, they miss their daughter. So they're doing the best they can to try and find her sister. It affected her dad so much that he lost interest in cooking in his business because he lost the spark due to losing one of his kids, and he's desperate. They're desperate to get her sister back. He was even baited into a trap with it, cause what a traitor member of Emma's herd baited him to the forest with the promise that that member knew where his daughter was. Which, yeah, sad. So, yeah, with all that out of the way, I'm gonna move on to themes. Basically, there's no real theme in the book. It's just a straightforward story of a girl looking for her sister. So I'm going to just talk about the 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 whole thing with how it shows grief. Because her dad lost his passion for cooking and his restaurant because of his daughter's disappearance. He they spent so much money they had to move to the ghetto area, and throughout the story, it's before the search is constantly she constantly thinks brings up what her sister was like, what theorizing how her sister would react to the move that happened, blaming her sister at times for the move because of her disappearance. Just overall, she's going through a lot. Everyone's turned their back on her, and she missed her sister. And there's a scene where it was her sister's birthday, and they celebrate by making her favorite cake and everything. And just it's sad. The book handles grief very well. You can feel the sister's absence with the way she's talked about, and the desperate actions Emma takes in order to just find her sister again. She even questions her sister's even alive. It's still at this point. It's sad. It's really sad. And yeah, it's a I love this book. It was a good story. The characters were good. I loved the relationship between two main characters, Shaq and Emma. It was just overall an engaging urban fantasy story, and I can't believe it was the author's first book. It was a great story. I heavily recommend it. So, yeah, 10 out of 10.